Good evening. It is now 7 p.m. on Thursday, November 20th, 2014, and I call this meeting of the Bellevue Planning Commission to order. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Harbin, roll call, please.
Compton. Jacobson.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Gladback.
Here.
Carnish.
Here.
Ackley. Sykes.
Here.
Ritz.
Here.
Kane.
Here.
Thank you.
This meeting will be conducted in accordance with the Nebraska Open Meetings Act, a copy which can be found in the back of the vestibule of this hearing room. At this time, I would ask that all commissioners and all audience members please silence or turn off your cell phones, pagers, or any other devices that could disrupt our proceedings. Thank you. At this time, I entertain a motion to revise or approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes for October 23rd, 2014, regular meeting.
Mr. Chairman, if I might make a motion to approve the October 23rd regular meeting minutes as presented.
Mr. Jacobson?
Second.
Ms. Kane? Motion by Mr. Jacobson, second by Ms. Kane. Commissioners, please vote.
All in favor, motion carried.
At this time, I'd like to accept into record all staff reports, attachments, memos, and handouts regarding each application. Staff, any updates or additions since the package was mailed last week?
You received on Tuesday electronic copy of the energy element for the comp plan, and you do have a hard copy in front of you on the desk tonight.
Thank you. We have a consent agenda tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. I need a motion.
Mr. Carnish, I'll make that motion to
Ms.
accept all the handouts.
Ms. Kane, thank you.
I'll second.
Second. Mr. Gladback. Commissioners, please vote.
All in favor, motion carried.
Okay. We have one consent agenda on the docket tonight. The consent agenda will be read and approved with a single motion unless there is someone who wishes to remove it from the consent agenda to the public hearing portion of the meeting. Anyone here wishing to do that? I'm going to read it. First, I'll read. Request to adopt the 2014 National Electrical Code, 2012 International Residential Code, 2012 International Building Code, 2012 Uniform Plumbing Code, 2012 International Mechanical Code, 2012 International Fuel Gas Code, 2012 Uniform Swimming Pool, Spa, and Hot Tub Code, and the 2012 International Fire Code. Applicant is the City of Bellevue. Is there anyone here that wishes to take that to the public hearing tonight? Seeing none. Commissioners? Need a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, if I might make a motion to approve the consent agenda, specifically item 1. If you'd like, I can read that into the record, or we can take your wording on that. I'll read it. Request to adopt the 2014 National Electric Code and 2012 International Residential Code, 2012 International Building Code, 2012 Uniform Plumbing Code, 2012 International Mechanical Code, 2012 International Fuel Code, 2012 Uniform Swimming Pool, Spa, and Hot Tub Code, 2012 International Fire Code, applicant City of Bellevue.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jacobson, second by Ms. Kane. Commissioners, please vote.
All in favor, motion carried.
Okay, tonight we have 4 public hearings this evening. For each, I will announce the case, and then I ask if there are any updates from the Planning Department. After that, the applicant will have an opportunity to present their case. After the applicant has been heard, the public will be allowed to provide any testimony that they would like to be considered into the record. Those testifying should come to the podium, state their name and address, spell their name, and sign in for the record. Testimony will be limited to 5 minutes, and I reserve the right to shorten that time if we have a large number of people coming forward to testify. After any testimony is taken, the applicant shall have opportunity for rebuttal, after which we will close the public hearing. Bottom line here is use the golden rule. Treat others who are speaking in the same manner as which you would like to be treated when speaking. First public hearing. Request to rezone Lot 1, First Addition to Terrace Heights Replot 1, being a replot of Lot 1B, First Addition to Terrace Heights from RG 20-PUD to BG for the purpose of commercial parking and small subdivision plot lots 1 and 2. First Addition to Terrace Heights Replot 1. Applicant 1946 LLC, general location, Betts Road and Lloyd Street. Case numbers Z-1410-08 and S-1410-19. Staff, are there any updates?
No.
If the applicant is here, I would invite them to step forward and make their request. State your name and address, spell your name, and then sign in for the record.
Hi, my name is Alan Strong, and I'm the applicant on this request. My last name is Strong, S-T-R-O-N-G, member of 1946 LLC. I would like to make a request for the rezoning.
Mr. Strong, could you please state your address for the record?
The property address or my personal address?
Personal.
Okay. 1335 A Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68144. Thank you. I guess I don't know what I'm supposed to do next here. I'm at a loss.
You can just make your
We're looking
any comments you have
to,
regarding your request.
so as it states in the paperwork, we're looking to split it off. And the tentative idea, Plan A, is to the neighbor, the dentistry office that's owned there, has approached me about buying the track so that he can add an additional parking spaces and concrete to his building so that not everyone has to park on the street that frequents his business. And since it's a blighted piece of ground, I mean, it's really not a lot of uses for it. It's been, when I bought it, it was just overgrown, and so it's just a maintenance thing at this point, so might as well be utilized for something.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone from the public wish to provide testimony at this time? State your name and address.
My name is Chet Bates. I live at 1204 Betts Road, across the street. And I understand this is a flood zone, from what I gathered. That area's a flood zone. But I didn't know if anything could be built there. And anyway, I was wondering where the parking lot is actually going to be going at. Do y'all know?
if you have any other questions, go ahead and state them, and then we can have the applicant come back and respond to your questions.
Yeah, I just want to
So-
know where the parking lot's going to go, and, that's about,
And
and I,
when everybody's done, I'll also address the flood issue.
yeah, because I just didn't know if anybody's even supposed to be building there because of that, so.
Any other public testimony? State your name and address. Sign your name for the record, please.
Bill Baldwin, 608 Vernon Avenue, Bellevue, homeowner at 1414 Wilshire. I guess my concerns are also one and the same as the size of the parking lot that's going to go into the area, and we are taking, or we are making a request to rezone that whole area to general business, which basically we are in a right in a hub zone of single family dwellings and some multifamily dwellings as apartment complexes and stuff that are there. I'm just afraid down the road somewhere that our blighted area may change. We could end up with commercial development in the area, which I would certainly hate to see. I really don't see anything with the way it is, and I really don't have a problem with the dentist office acquiring some land there, just as long as it's not that whole stretch of land and they make parking out of everything. I mean, we have water runoff problems there now with flooding, and the more concrete we put down, the more issues we're going to have with that. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? State your name, address.
My name is Dr. Richard Stacy. I am the dental office on the corner there. And my home address is 18409 6th Street, Plattsmouth, Nebraska. And what I was looking at is trying to acquire a little bit more room, probably adjacent to my existing parking lot. I mean, I would probably, obviously I mentioned I'd purchase the whole property along Betts Road. Obviously, it's not my intentions to concrete the whole thing. My goal would be to hopefully add maybe about, I'm thinking 6, maybe 7 things for cars, whatever that equate to for a parking lot. But I just want to put it adjacent to my existing parking lot, so obviously it makes no sense to make it on the far end or in the middle of that property, so that would be my goal. Other than that, that's about what I had for intentions there. And I've been trying for like 20 years to get it, but finally had the opportunity, so that's why I'm trying to take advantage of it. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Stacy. Anyone else from the public? Applicant, would you like a chance to rebut?
I think he answered the question as to the parking, which seemed to be the general, was there any other questions that were asked that weren't addressed? You're aware of?
I'll address the floodplain, and from the audience, Mr. Strong said he believed that he thought that the question regarding the parking location had been answered. On the overhead, or on the slide right now, is the floodplain map. The dark blue, the solid blue is the floodway, and nothing can be built in the floodway. The hatched or dashed area that you see that covers most of this area is actually the 500-year floodplain. It and the 100-year floodplain, which is kind of the gray shading. This is 500-year here and here. The 100-year is up here and up here. Those actually can be built on, under current regulations. The 100-year floodplain, they would have to be elevated 1 foot above base flood level for any structure. There are no regulations regarding the 500-year floodplain. However, as far as flooding and structures or anything obstructing the floodplain, that there are no plans at this point by Dr. Stacy to put anything in there. It's just a flat parking lot, so there'll be nothing obstructing the floodplain. Also, let me go to the plat. There is a very wide drainage easement through the property, both on the lot that Dr. Stacy's proposing to own, as well as the other lot that kind of runs down the other side of the creek. Nothing could be built within that drainage easement area, which leaves the property, there's just a very narrow area that would actually be buildable, and then once you put in anything such as setbacks, landscaping requirements and whatnot that we have in our zoning, the property is really not very valuable or not very useful for any sort of building at all. And that's why we felt that this was appropriate for an appropriate use for a parking lot in this area.
Thank you, Mr. Suchuk. Yep. I will now close the public hearing. What are the wishes of the commission?
Mr. Carnish?
Ms. Kane?
I'd like to make a couple of statements before voting. I just want to state for the record that I live on Kingston Avenue, which is some of the area here being questioned. I live at 1115 Kingston Avenue. I've lived there for over 30 years. I've watched this property go from being well-maintained to very poorly maintained. I've watched weeds be mowed regularly, then I've watched them grow to 2 feet high. And I think that anyone here who lives in the neighborhood has seen that, and particularly this past summer. As far as worry about commercial businesses coming in that area, the land remaining, or that can be, or in the floodplain that Mr. Shuchuk pointed out, is so small, it would be highly unlikely that anybody would build there in the floodplain. I'm delighted that Dr. Stacy wants to use this land for parking. I think it's a good plan for that land. It will take the land and our worries in my part of the neighborhood of having something bad develop there not happen. And Dr. Stacy, I know that your building was at one time a liquor store. We could go back to having a liquor store in the neighborhood, and I'm not sure that people want that. We had a video rental store there. So there have been other uses for that building. And because I feel it's the best use of that land, I would fully support this request.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So this would be, as far as the runoff concerns, this would be under the current runoff regulations regarding max flows and detention, correct?
Yes, and that any runoff issues would be addressed when the building permit comes in with the grading plan that is submitted with the building permit.
And then in the future, if it was to sell, there's no kind of restrictions once the BG is in place.
That's correct. The BG zoning goes with the land, and it could be used for anything in the BG that the BG zoning allows. But as I mentioned earlier, it's such, once you take out the drainage easement, the floodway, and then any setbacks for zoning and or landscaping, It's just a
There's about a
very
50
narrow
Yeah, there's a
piece of
50-foot
ground
strip.
there.
Looks for the length of the property, so.
Right.
Mr. Shuchek, may I ask a question? If something else were to be built on that land, if it were sold, would that have to come back, a site plan would have to come before the planning directors again, is that correct or not?
A site plan would not have to come through the planning commission or council for approval. Obviously, anything that gets built, the building permit application comes through
Yeah,
us.
okay.
But we don't have the site plan review discretion to, that planning commission or council would have in approving something.
Mr. Gladback?
I guess my only comments would be, by going with BG, that does open the possibility for development. Granted, the drainage easeway does take a lot of the ground out of play, but there's probably enough ground on Lot 2 back there to do something small as far as a business. Granted, it's going to be tucked to the back of the site, which may affect some of the adjoining houses, but it's going to be such a limited size building that could be potentially put back in there.
And let me correct, the rezoning is only for Lot 1 along
Only for Lot 1,
Betts Road.
okay.
Lot 2 in the back continues to be RG20 PUD.
Okay, that explains that.
And that could allow the apartments similar to what's already there.
Okay. Yeah, but with the drainage way there, that really limits the potential development.
I guess, Mr. Chairman, if you're all right, I'm ready to make a motion.
Mr. Sykes?
I move that we approve the request to rezone Lot 1, First Addition to Terrace Heights Replat 1, being a replat of Lot 1B, First Addition Terrace Heights from RG20 PUD to PG for the purpose of commercial parking, a small subdivision plat lots 1 and 2, First Edition of Terrace Heights Replat 1, applicant 1946 LLC.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Sykes, seconded by Ms. Kane. Any other discussion? Commissioners, please vote.
All in favor, motion carried.
This will move to City Council on January 12th, 2015. Our second public hearing tonight is a request to rezone lots 1 and 2, Limestone Creek, being a plotting of part of the southeast quarter of Section 20, Township 13 North, Range 13 East of the 6th Prime Meridian, Sarpy County, Nebraska, from AG to RA for the purpose of residential development, and small subdivision plot lots 1 and 2, Limestone Creek. Applicant, Limestone Creek L and Company, LLC, general location 36th Street and Mitchell Road. Case numbers Z-1409-07 and S-1409-16. Staff, are there any updates?
No, there are not.
Thank you. Is the applicant here?
Evening, Chairman, Planning Commission members, Jason Thielen with E&A Consulting Group, THIELLEN, 330 North 117th Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68154. On behalf of the applicant, with me as well is Greg and Mary Stama, the property owners, in case there's any questions for them. Here to present the small subdivision for called Limestone Creek. It's a piece of property that Greg and Mary have owned for quite some time. They actually own also property around this. It's roughly a 29-acre piece. We did have to dedicate an additional 17 feet of right-of-way along 36th Street. So it's a little bit less than the 29 acres. We are asking for a change of zone along with our small subdivision from AG to RA for the purposes of selling those property off, each lot off for residential use, which would be in conformance with what's across the street there. They're under conditional approval, had really only 2 or 3 items that we had to take care of. Minor items, we've addressed those as well, and we would ask for your approval. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Pretty straightforward, small subdivision.
Thank you. If we have any, we'll call you back up, sir. Thank you. Anyone else would like to submit public testimony? I will close the public hearing. Turn it over to the commissioners.
I would like to ask a question. I guess, Mr. Thielen, you would be the one. So you want, as I understand now, you only want to build 2 homes here.
There's actually an existing home on lot, what's that plat there, Tammy? Lot 1.
Okay.
And then there would be the ability to build a second home on lot 2. Oh, there's not existing. There's building. Oh, that is-
Excuse me, we can't have the audience talk. There are no homes on either
There are
lot.
no
There's some-
homes on the
There's some
site.
outbuildings you can see on,
Oh, I thought that was a house. Okay.
up here.
Yeah, so that would be, that's correct. We'd like to be, he would sell the property, somebody would like to build probably a home, be my guess.
So you're going to sell the 17 acres, 17
Correct.
point, whatever, and the other, lot 2, then the 10 acres together.
We'd sell them separate, that's correct.
Okay.
And the change of zone is due to, we can't meet 20-acre parcels within the AG, or we would have left it that way. So
Okay.
that's the reason for the rezone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, a quick question.
Mr. Sykes?
Do you know if there's, or have you checked on the quality of the water in the area? Is there any issues with putting a domestic well on both lots?
I do not believe there is. We've not
Sir.
checked. We've not checked. We've not checked, but whoever buys that property will do their due diligence, and, obviously if there's no water available, then it won't be purchased, and they'll maintain control of it.
So there's not an existing well with the agricultural buildings that are there?
I believe there might be on lot 1. Is there a well in there existing?
Mr. Talon,
Yes.
keep your questions this way, please.
Okay.
Your answers.
Greg has a lot of knowledge on the property, so specific to those types of questions, then I would ask that maybe the commission would bring him up if there's concerns about that well water. We haven't done any test wells. I don't know if there's an agricultural well on the site, but he could answer that question for you if you'd like.
Would you like him?
I don't think it's a major concern. I just wanted to
Okay.
see if it'd been checked.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like
Ms.
to make a
Kane?
motion to approve the request to rezone lots 1 and 2 Limestone Creek, upon conformance with the zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations, as well as lack of perceived negative impact upon the surrounding area, from AG to RA.
I'll second.
And that motion, Ms. Kane, also includes a recommendation of approval of the small subdivision plat?
Yes, sorry, yes.
Motion by Ms. Kane, second by Mr. Gladback. Any other discussion? Commissioners, please vote.
All in favor, motion carried.
This will go to City Council January 12th, 2015. Our third public hearing tonight is a request to preliminary plot lots 1 through 53 and outlots A and B, Ashford Hollow North replat 1, being a replat of Lot 2, Ashford Hollow North. Applicant, Ashford Hollow Development LLC. General location, 48th Street and Rayner Parkway. Case number case number S-1409-17. Staff, are there any updates?
No, there are not.
Is the applicant here? I see he's here.
Yeah.
State your name, address, spell your name too, please, sir.
Doug Kellner, Thompson Reese and Dorner, 10836 Old Mill Road, Kellner, here on behalf of the applicant, proposing a 53-lot residential subdivision similar to the subdivision to the south, Ashford Hollow. It's actually inside the SID boundaries already of SID 238, which has Ashford Hollow also. That's about all I have to it. If you have any questions, available to answer them.
If we do, we'll call you back up, sir. Thank you. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this? I will close the public hearing. Turn it over to the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, quick
Mr.
question for
Sykes.
planning. Does this SID have the current new and improved SID agreement in place, or does this trigger such an improvement?
There will be an amendment to the original subdivision agreement, so that the new requirements regarding sidewalks and whatnot will be in effect for this subdivision.
For the, just for this replat?
This portion of it, yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Jacobson?
Well, if nobody has any additional comments, I would be prepared to make a motion, Mr. Chairman. If I might, to make a motion to approve the request to approve the preliminary plats of lots 1 through 53, outlots A and B, Ashford Hollow North replat 1, being a replat of Lot 2, Ashford Hollow. The applicant is Ashford Hollow Development LLC. 48th and Rayner Parkway, case number S-1409-17.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Jacobson, second by Mr. Sykes. Any further discussion? Commissioners, please vote.
All in favor, motion carried.
This will move to City Council for hearing on December 8th, 2014. Our fourth public hearing is a request to approve the energy element and revise future land use map of the comprehensive plan. The applicant is the City of Bellevue. Staff, are there any updates?
No, there are no updates other than, as I mentioned earlier, you did receive a copy of the energy element. I'll start with that. The energy element is a requirement of the state at this point in time. They passed LB 997 in 2010, which required that it be, that an energy element be added to a comprehensive plan for all cities in the state. It excluded the villages, but every city in the state who has a comp plan needs to have an energy element as well. My memo at the top, or the beginning, indicates the three components of the energy element that are required. Those are, and those items are addressed in the information you have as far as the energy element. We did have trouble getting information from both Black Hills and MUD as far as gas usage, and any, excuse me, and any other information regarding gas from those two utilities. Would like to point out that we did look at some other energy elements from other cities, and they also had issues with the gas companies. So we are not alone in, say, not having everything we needed really from the gas companies. OPPD provided us information, and they had a lot of good information on their website as well for our information. I believe we have addressed the requirements as put out in the state statutes, and, excuse me, I would request your recommendation of approval to the energy element of the comp plan. We also have a revised future land use map for the comp plan. It's just really, it's an update from the comp plan. It reflects changes that have already been approved by the council in some cases. It also fills in some holes, I'll say, that were in the original plan, which you have a copy of already or as part of this. It's just really an update. It's nothing real major regarding, no, it's not a policy change. It's not. It just really either reflects what's there or what has been approved by the council. We'd be happy to answer any questions, and again, we would like a favorable recommendation to the council tonight from the Planning Commission.
Is there anyone from the public wishing to provide testimony? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Turn it over to the commissioners.
If no one has any comments or anything, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Ms. Kane?
I move that we approve the energy element report or energy plan, comprehensive plan, and the future land use map as presented.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Kane, seconded by Mr. Jacobson. Any discussion? Commissioners, please vote.
All in favor? Motion carried.
This will move to City Council for public hearing on December 8th, 2014. Current business.